If you constantly worry about your partner leaving, feel panicked when they don't text back, or overanalyze every little thing in dating, you might have an anxious attachment style. On the other hand, if you're in a relationship with someone who gets triggered by small shifts in your mood, overthinks your words, or struggles when you need space, you might be in a relationship with someone who has anxious attachment. In either case, understanding why this happens and what to do about it can change everything about how the two of you connect. I'm Rose Vigiano, attachment specialist and creator of the Awakening Relationships community. In this video, I'll share 5 tools that help stop the cycle of fear and overthinking that comes with anxious attachment. I'll also show you how to support a partner with anxious attachment without feeling like you're constantly walking on eggshells. Before we dive in, if you want to build a healthy relationship, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. So why does anxious attachment happen? If someone has an anxious attachment style, it's not their fault. It usually develops in childhood when love and attention are inconsistent, sometimes available, sometimes not. Maybe their caregivers were loving at times, but other times distracted, unavailable, or emotionally distant. Over time, they learned on a nervous system level that connection could disappear at any moment. So now, as an adult, they crave closeness, but also fear losing it. This can show up in a relationship as overanalyzing everything a partner says and does, or needing constant reassurance that they're loved, or feeling extreme distress when a partner pulls away, even for normal reasons. If you have anxious attachment, this isn't about being too much. Your nervous system was wired to seek closeness as a survival response. If your partner has anxious attachment, their need for reassurance isn't about you doing something wrong. It's about their past experiences making love feel dangerous or unpredictable. And here's the challenge. Even when an anxious attacher gets reassurance, it can be hard for them to take it in. They may need more and more, which can create tension in the relationship. If this resonates, hit the like button. It helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this. Now let's get into the 5 tools that can help ease the symptoms of anxious attachment, whether you have anxious attachment or are dating or in a relationship with someone who does. Number 1, catch the anxiety before it takes over. If you have anxious attachment, your brain automatically scans for threats in your close relationships. It might be a delayed text, a shift in their tone, or a night apart. That can send you into a spiral of overthinking and convincing yourself that something is wrong when it really isn't. Before you know it, you're stuck in a loop of anxious thoughts, crafting worst-case scenarios, and feeling the urge to reach out for reassurance. But here's the thing, not every uncomfortable feeling means something bad is happening. The key is to learn how to pause before acting on the anxiety. When your mind starts racing, take a breath and ask yourself, is there real evidence that something is wrong? If not, what impact is believing this thought having on me? What would I tell a friend in this same situation? Getting into the observer seat of your own thoughts helps you re-engage your wise adult self. If your partner has anxious attachment, they might react to their fears as if they're facts. A slow reply from you might make them question if you're mad at them. A busy day might make them wonder if you're tired of the relationship. They're not choosing to overthink. It's just that their nervous system automatically reacts to the perceived danger and they go into survival mode. So how can you help? Don't dismiss or minimize their anxiety. Saying, just relax, or you're overthinking again, doesn't help. It makes them feel unheard. Instead, try this. I see this is bringing up fear for you, and I want you to know that everything is okay between us. Help them slow down their reaction cycle. If they tend to reach out for reassurance quickly, encourage them to pause and reflect before acting. You can also be there to hear that they are experiencing anxiety and give them appropriate reassurance. Say, I'm here with you. I'm not going anywhere. I love you. Your consistency and reassurance won't erase their anxiety overnight, but it will help them learn to trust the relationship more. A secure relationship can help heal insecure attachment over time, assuming that each partner is working on their own healing as well. 2, ask for what you need clearly and calmly. If you have anxious attachment, asking for what you need might feel risky. Maybe you'll worry it'll come off as too much or push your partner away. Instead of asking directly, you might hint, over-explain, or just not say anything. This is fine until frustration builds and you end up blurting it out in a way that feels more like an attack than a request. But here's the truth. Your needs are valid, and how you communicate them matters. The key is to ask clearly and calmly before the resentment builds. Instead of saying, "You never prioritize me," which sounds like a criticism, try, "I feel most connected to you when we spend intentional time together. Can we plan a night this week just for us?" Secure relationships thrive on open communication. When you express your needs with clarity and confidence, your partner gets the chance to show up for you without the pressure of guessing or fixing things after they escalate. If your partner has anxious attachment, they may struggle to express their needs clearly. They might hesitate, ask for reassurance, feel guilty about asking, feel upset about wanting more connection, communicate in a roundabout way, all just hoping you'll know. So how can you help? Make it safe for them to ask. You might say, "I'd rather hear what you need directly than have to guess." Respond with reassurance instead of defensiveness. If they say, "I feel disconnected when we don't check in," instead of taking it as a criticism, try saying, "I didn't realize that. Let's figure out what works for both of us." A secure relationship is built on clear, direct, and open communication. The more your partner trusts that their needs will be heard, the less anxious and reactive they'll feel. 3, avoid overfunctioning. If you have an anxious attachment style, you might feel like you're always the one keeping the relationship together. Texting first, making all the plans, accommodating your partner's needs at your own expense, or constantly trying to fix even the smallest disconnection before they turn into big problems. It might feel like you're being proactive, like you're doing what's needed to maintain closeness. But here's the issue. Overfunctioning doesn't create security. It creates burnout, and ironically, it can push your partner away. So what's the fix? Well, start by noticing when you're taking on too much emotional responsibility. Before you reach out, over-explain, or try to fix something, pause and ask yourself these 2 things. Am I acting from fear or from trust? And am I leaving space for my partner to meet me halfway? That might feel risky at first, but here's why it's important. A balanced relationship isn't built on one person overfunctioning and the other coasting. When you stop managing everything, it creates room for your partner to step up, and that's what builds real security over time. If your partner has an anxious attachment style and they're always the one initiating, over-explaining, or bending over backwards to keep the relationship running smoothly, it's not because they're trying to be controlling. It's because deep down, they're afraid that if they stop trying so hard, the relationship will disappear. So what should you do? Well, don't pull away or dismiss their efforts as too much. That only reinforces their fear of being unchosen. Instead, acknowledge their care while also encouraging more balance. You might say, "I love how much thought you put into this, and I want to take the lead this time." Or, "You don't have to work so hard for me to understand you. I already do." The goal isn't to make them stop caring. It's to help them trust that the relationship is secure, even when they're not actively managing it. When you consistently meet them halfway, they don't have to carry the weight of the relationship alone. And that is what builds real security over time. Number 4, build security within yourself. If you have an anxious attachment style, it's easy to make your partner your emotional lifeline. Their texts, their reassurance, their presence, it all feels necessary just to be okay. But here's the problem. No one person can be our entire life. There are times when they'll be busy, distracted, or having a bad day. And if your whole sense of stability rests on them, you'll eventually crumble. So how do you change that? You build security throughout all the areas of your life. This means expanding your sense of stability so it doesn't just come from your partner, but from friendships that give you emotional support, hobbies and passions that make you feel fulfilled, daily routines that create predictability and help you trust yourself for showing up for yourself. Self-soothing tools might be journaling or deep breathing or the way that you like to move your body, giving back or service to others, or your own growth and education. The goal isn't to need your partner less, it's to create a foundation of security that doesn't disappear when they're not available. When you feel grounded in your own life, your relationship stops feeling like a lifeline and instead becomes a healthy, fulfilling connection. One that adds to your security rather than being the only thing holding it up. I like to imagine relationships are like the sprinkles on a cupcake. You already have the batter, you already have the cake, you already have the icing, and the relationship are those awesome sprinkles that just bring so much extra joy to your life. If your partner relies on you for all their security, this is how you can help. Encourage them to build a steady life outside of you. This might look like supporting their friendships, helping them reconnect with hobbies, or simply saying, I love being close to you, and also I want you to have things that make you feel solid outside of us. If they struggle with self-soothing, you can suggest tools like journaling, meditation, or movement. Things that help them regulate their emotions without always relying on the connection from you. Co-regulation is awesome, and you definitely want to provide that. The key is to provide consistency while also reinforcing that security doesn't have to come only from the relationship. Over time, as they develop a stronger internal foundation, you'll both experience a healthier, more balanced dynamic, one where connection feels safe without being all-consuming. And 5, choose a secure relationship. If you have an anxious attachment style, your nervous system might be drawn to relationships that feel unpredictable. You might mistake inconsistency for passion or feel an urge to prove your worth to someone who keeps you guessing. It's familiar. It's what your nervous system recognizes. But here's the thing, familiar doesn't mean healthy. If you want to break the cycle of anxiety in relationships, you have to make a different choice. You have to choose a relationship that can function securely. A secure functioning relationship isn't about perfection. It's not about never feeling triggered or getting the constant validation that you want. It's about consistency, emotional safety, and mutual effort. It's about being with a partner who communicates openly, follows through with their words, doesn't make you feel like you have to chase their love. Instead of waiting by the phone or overanalyzing their texts or trying to earn their attention, you're able to feel more settled. So how do you know if you're in a secure functioning relationship? Well, ask yourself this. Does my partner show up consistently? Do I feel safe expressing my needs without fear of being ignored or dismissed? Are we both invested in making the relationship work? If the answer is no, it might be time to stop chasing the highs and lows of inconsistency and start choosing a relationship where security is the foundation, not the exception. If your partner has anxious attachment, they might be used to relationships that feel unstable, unpredictable, or emotionally exhausting. Even in a healthy relationship, they may unconsciously recreate those same patterns, chasing, overfunctioning, or questioning whether they're fully loved. If you're in a relationship with someone who struggles with this, your consistency and emotional safety can help them unlearn those patterns. So what does that actually look like? Follow through on what you say. If you make plans, keep them. If you say you'll call, Do it. Anxious partners are hyper aware of inconsistency, so small actions build or break trust. Then encourage open communication. Let them know they don't have to guess what you're feeling or sit in anxiety waiting for reassurance. They can just ask. And finally, reinforce that love isn't something they have to earn. You can remind them you don't have to work so hard for closeness. I'm here. When they trust that security is the norm with you, not something they have to fight for, the relationship becomes a place of ease, not anxiety. Anxious attachment doesn't have to control your relationships, but healing it takes more than just an understanding. It takes action. If you're ready to stop feeling anxious in relationships and start building real security, that's exactly what we do inside the Awakening Relationships community. Inside the ARC, you will get step-by-step guidance on how to heal anxious attachment, live coaching with me so that you're never navigating this alone, and a supportive community of people who really get it, because healing is easier when you're not trying to do it yourself. Tools like this video are great, but real change happens when you have the support to actually implement them. And that's why I created the Awakening Relationships community. So if you're ready to feel calm, confident, and secure in love, check out the link below. And if this video helped you, hit the like button and subscribe for more content on attachment and relationships. Now I want to hear from you. Are you the anxious one in the relationship, or are you with someone who is? Drop a comment and let's talk about it. And I'll see you in the next one.